The NASCAR Xfinity Series race is officially concluded from Phoenix Raceway, and what looked like was going to be a pretty easy win for Justin Allgaier turns into a pretty awesome finish between Aric Almirola and Alex Bowman. What's going on, guys? It's Daniel and welcome back to our video. I just got done watching NASCAR Xfinity Series race in Phoenix Raceway, the Gov X200. We had quite a bit to talk about from this race. Let's go and talk about it. So before the green flag drop in today's race, William Sawalch and I believe Matt DiBenedetto and Ryan Sieg would all have to go to the rear for unapproved adjustments. So at the start of the race, you had Alex Bowman lead the field from the inside with Sheldon Creed on the outside, and Alex Bowman got a fantastic start and was able to clear for the race lead. Meanwhile, a couple laps later, there was some contact between Connor Zilisch and Jesse Love. They continued on, and then there was a couple really good saves between Connor Zilisch and Taylor Gray early in the race. But at that point, from that point on, Alex Bowman will completely dominate. Justin Allgaier was charging his way up to the field, but he couldn't get up there by the end of stage number one. Aric Almirola was up there as well, but Alex Bowman continued to dominate and was starting to pull away, and he would come off the final corner and dominate and win stage number one. All lead lap cars would then come down pit road with Aric Almirola winning the race off pit road, with Alex Bowman having a little bit of a slower pit stop. Connor Zilisch had, unfortunately, a terrible pit stop. He went too far into his pit box and basically hit the hose and would lose a ton of ground, dropping all the way back from around 4th all the way back to 21st position near the back of the field. Tough right there for Connor, who was, in my opinion, doing a really, really good job. So then on the restart, you had Aric Almirola lead the field from the inside with Alex Bowman on the outside, and Aric Almirola got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. But then a couple laps later, as the racing started to get good, we would get a caution the next lap when Anthony Alfredo would end up coming to a stop on pit road because his car could not get fired. That would bring the caution out. Tough break for Anthony Alfredo. Just a bad situation all around for the 42 team, who's shown a lot of promise to start this year. This would unfortunately end their day. So then, a couple cars came down. Daniel died, Parker Rest left, Mason Massey, while everyone else would stay out. So then on the restart, you had Aric Almirola lead the field from the outside with Alex Bowman on the inside, and we saw some really good racing with Aric Almirola being able to clear for the race lead. And coming to complete the first lap of the restart, the biggest incident of the day would end up taking place. Austin Hill would go behind Sammy Smith, but basically lost a little bit of where he was going. It would hit the inside wall really, really hard. He would ricochet back across the track and collect Sheldon Creed. And Dean Thompson got collected. It looked like to me maybe some contact with Connor Zilisch. Dean Thompson would also get collected in the crash. I have not seen anybody, at least in real life, run into the inside wall of Phoenix and crash up. I've seen people crash in the inside wall and ricochet back up. I go back to Noah Gragson a couple years ago when he was driving for Legacy Motor Club in North Wilkesboro, but I have not seen anybody do that at Phoenix. It's something we probably were going to happen at some point, but I didn't think Austin Hill was going to be the driver to do that. Tough break for Sheldon Creed. Just a bad misjudgment there by Austin Hill. Just a bad move on his part. Just tough break for Austin Hill. Just a mistake on his part, and tough break for Sheldon Creed and Dean Thompson. So then on the restart, you had Aric Almirola lead the field from the inside with Alex Bowman on the outside, and we saw Aric Almirola and Alex Bowman put on a really good show up front for the race lead. Aric Almirola would get sideways while battling for the lead against Alex Bowman, and Justin Allgaier got a really good run a couple laps later and was able to clear Aric Almirola for the race lead. But then they continued battling back and forth between both drivers for the next laps. Allgaier would get the lead for a second, then Aric Almirola was able to get the lead, and we saw some fantastic battles once again between these guys, with eventually Aric Almirola being able to clear for the race lead. But then we saw Almirola get the lead, and then Justin Allgaier got a really, really great run and was able to take the lead back. He started pulling away from Aric Almirola after a great battle there for the next 4 or 5 laps, and Justin Allgaier would come off the final corner and dominate and win stage number 2. Then, all lead lap cars would then come down pit road with Justin Allgaier winning the race off pit road, followed by Brandon Jones and Alex Bowman, as Brandon Jones was doing a really good job on pit road. So then on the restart, you had Justin Allgaier lead the field from the inside with Brandon Jones on the outside, and Justin Allgaier got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the race lead. Eventually, Aric Almirola, a couple laps later, he got a really good run on Brandon Jones, and he moved up to second position. And Aric Almirola was starting to make up a ton of ground and getting toward the lead. But then Justin Allgaier started pulling away, but would have about a 1-second lead as he continued to drive away from the field. And then as the run continued on, Almirola was starting to close in on Justin Allgaier, running that outside lane, and was gaining a little bit of ground as they were getting through the traffic. And then we saw a really good battle up front as Aric Almirola got a really great run on Justin Allgaier once again on lap 144 and was able to take the lead. And then Justin Allgaier got back around him and was able to take the lead right back after a couple laps. But then, with 54 laps to go, the next big incident of the day would take place. Dawson Graham would basically have a flat tire going into turn number 1 after contact with Sammy Smith and would spin really hard into the outside wall, bringing the caution out. And Sammy Smith was having a really good day, would get caught up in the incident, and was almost going to come down pit road, but he did not come down pit road, luckily. Tough break for Dawson Graham, who was having a good run. So then, all lead lap cars would come down pit road with Justin Allgaier win the race off of pit road. Aric Almirola would have a terrible pit stop because he's been having trouble on pit road most of the day and would drop only back from 2nd to 7th position. Tough break there for Aric Almirola, just bad job on pit road from the number 19 team. So then on the restart, you had Justin Allgaier lead the field from the inside with Alex Bowman on the outside, and Justin Allgaier got a fantastic restart and was able to clear for the lead. But Alex Bowman was staying right there behind him, and they would battle for the next couple of laps. And then eventually Justin Allgaier had the lead though, and he started pulling away from the field. And then eventually it looks like that Justin Allgaier is going to cruise, but Aric Almirola is coming. His car is really good on the long run, and eventually, with around 15 laps to go, Aric Almirola got a great run, and Alex Bowman was able to pass for 2nd position. And then it looks like that Justin Allgaier is going to cruise. And then Aric Almirola closes in. Every lap, he's getting about a 10th or 2/10 a lap, and they're catching a lap traffic, and the gap is starting to gain very quickly. And then Carson Quaffle, with about 9 laps to go, he's starting to have a mechanical gremlin after a flat right front tire happened on the car, and a brake rotor basically went up the edge of pit road, but the caution would not come out. Tough break for Carson, who was struggling most of the day. It looked like Justin Allgaier was though going to clear and close out the victory. And then with 4 laps to go, the caution would come out when Nick Lights spun near the start-finish line from 27th position, just lost it for some weird and strange reason. Looked like he had a flat tire coming down the front and went back hard into the outside wall, bringing the caution out. And then we get to the final restart of the race. We had a long caution for about 10 laps for whatever reason, and then we got to the final restart of the race. We had Justin Allgaier lead the field from the inside with Aric Almirola on the outside, and we saw a really good battle as they got to the final restart, Allgaier and Almirola, and they'd be side by side going into turn number 1. But then Justin Allgaier got sideways, and that would force him up the track, lost a lot of ground, and Alex Bowman got a really great run and was shoot through to take the race lead, with Brandon Jones falling up to 2nd. But Aric Almirola recovered and got back up to 2nd. And as they came to the white flag of the race, Aric Almirola was closing in on Alex Bowman. And they would put on a really good show at the end of the race, as going to turn number 1, Aric Almirola would get into Alex Bowman a little bit, but Alex Bowman was able to recover. And going into the final corner of the race, we have Alex Bowman having the race lead over Aric Almirola. And going into turn number 3, Aric Almirola would get sideways right underneath Alex Bowman, and coming off the final corner of the race, Aric Almirola gets sideways and forces Alex Bowman in the outside wall. There's contact between both of them, and they would come to start-finish line, only basically losing by 45 1/1000ths of a second, and Aric Almirola edges out Alex Bowman to pick up his first Xfinity Series win of 2025 and his 8th career NASCAR Xfinity Series victory. Many people are going to talk about the finish of this race and be really mad at Aric Almirola for the way he raced Alex Bowman at the end. I do think Alex Bowman has a little bit of a right to be frustrated, but to me, that's just a really good finish at the end of the day. That was not intentional in my opinion. I do think Aric Almirola would have had intentions to basically go side by side and beat and bang across the line. I don't think he had intentions to get sideways. I think he was going to put him in the wall, so I'm not a big fan of putting someone in the wall to win the race, but you're going for the win at this point, and we're really close to the end of these races. Don't get me wrong, I do like a clean finish. I love the finish last week of Cristobal, the way they ended that race, but I think the finish today was really exciting, and I think it's cool to see Aric Almirola win. I know some people aren't the biggest fans of Aric Almirola for other instances, like the stuff that happened with Bubba Wallace last year, but Aric Almirola picks up the win. He had a really strong car today, a fantastic finish to close it out. Again, Alex Bowman has the right to be frustrated. I think he handled his post-race interview very classy and very professional, which shows how good of a person Alex Bowman is. And I don't think that Almirola should have said some of the stuff he said, but nonetheless, Aric Almirola is able to pick up the win in victory. Congratulations to him on picking up his first Xfinity win of 2025. So now we'll go ahead and take a look at the race results, and I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. So Aric Almirola picks up the win Alex Bowman finished second. Alex Bowman was really strong early. His car faded a little bit on the longer run, but he put together a really strong run. It looked like he was going to win, then lost it by 45 1/1000ths. But a great run for Alex Bowman. Hopefully can give him some confidence going into the race tomorrow. Brandon Jones finished third. Want to give him a shout out. He's had a bad start to 2025. Comes home today with a really solid and really strong top 5 finish. Fantastic, great run for the driver of the 20 car. Great day for Brandon Jones. Great redemption day. He finished third. Ryan Sieg finished fourth. Another good run for the 39 team. This team was really coming on strong at the end of last year, and they're really showing good speed. He had to go to the back because of some damage he got on the front of his car, but still comes home with a really strong top 5 finish in fourth. Great run for Ryan Sieg and the 39 team. Justin Allgaier finishes fifth. I feel terrible for Justin Allgaier because he was cruising to that victory before the Nick Lights crash ended up happening. It looked like he was going to win this race. Justin Allgaier was really disappointed after the race, which I completely understand. It seems like at Phoenix in the spring race, he just never can catch a break. He had the race won. Feel bad for Allgaier in that situation. Did mess up on that restart, but I feel bad for Allgaier. But he does, at least at the end of the day, come home in a top 5 finish. At least he ends the day with a really good run. Taylor Gray finished the 6th, solid day for him, ran around 4th to 6th most of the day, and gets the top 10 finish. Great run for Taylor Gray. Sam Mayer finished the 7th, solid day for Sam Mayer, ran inside around that 10th place. He got a speeding penalty at one point and recovered to get a top 10 finish. Good run for Sam Mayer. Christian Eckes finished 8th. He struggled majority of the day, but got a really good run at the end and comes home with a top 10 finish in 8th. Solid run for Christian. Jesse Love finished 9th, was really good on the short run, struggled on the long runs, but does come home with a very solid top 10 finish. Good run for Jesse Love. And Nick Sanchez finished 10th. Was really good early, lost in the speed in the middle of the race. They recovered that speed, though, and come home with a top 10 finish. Good run for Nick Sanchez and good recovery after what happened at COTA last week. Parker Retzlaff finished 11th. Really want to give him a shout out because Parker Retzlaff today did a really good job. After basically DNQing last week and not making the race, he did a really good job today and does come with a solid top 11 finish. Good recovery for the number 4 team after not making the race last week. He finished 11th. Josh Williams finishes 12th. William Sawalch finishes 13th. Decent run for him. Recovers from that speeding penalty and he was running into top 10, lost some ground at the end of the race. He finished 13th. Sammy Smith finished 14th. Recovers a little bit after his issues. Jeb Byrne finishes 15th. Connor Zilch finished 16th. After that issue they had on pit road, I just don't know what happened to the number 88 car. They just never had the same speed they had in the beginning. One of the worst runs Connor's probably put together so far since getting in the Xfinity Series at this point. Got to work on that, but he does come home in the top 20. Brennan Poole finished 17th. Not a bad run for him. Kyle Seek finishes 18th. Daniel Dye finished 19th. Harrison Byrne finished 20th. Decent run for this car. Last time we ran this car in the spring race, Haley Deegan unfortunately crashed out of the event. They do finish 20th, so not a bad day for the AM Racing Machine. Jeremy Clemens finished 21st. Mason Massey finished 22nd. Josh Walicki finished 23rd. Blaine Perkins finished 24th. Chris Wright finished 25th. At least a positive for Chris Wright. He didn't cause a crash this time, so he actually didn't cause a crash with Josh Walicki, but he basically finished 2 spots right behind him. I thought there was going to be wreck for Chris Wright today, but he does come home with a top 25 finish. Carson Quall finished 26th. He was struggling for the issues he had at the end. The car just was never that good throughout the day. I expected more from Carson Quaffle in this race. Disappointing day for Carson, but I think he'll recover throughout the year. He finished 26th. Matt DiBenedetto finished 27th. He had a tire issue early in the event, taking him out of contention. Joey Gase finished 28th. 29th place finisher Garrett Smithley, 30th for Nick Lights, 31st place finisher Greg Van Alst, Anthony Alfredo finished 32nd, Ryan Ellis finished 33rd, Thomas Annunziata finished 34th, Dawson Cramp finished 35th, Sheldon Creed finished 36th after crashing out, Austin Hill finished 37th after wrecking out, and Dean Thompson finishes last in 38th place. So now, let's talk about the overall race as a whole. I'll give my score and thoughts on today's race. The first stage of this race was typical Phoenix. Really difficult to pass, some decent racing throughout the field, but generally the leader of the race pulling out to a really big lead. But then this race really improved as it went on. Yes, there were some cautions that really improved it, but I think there was some really good racing in Stage 2 when they were actually greening the middle portion of that, and we had a really solid finish to the end of Stage number 2, and I thought Stage 3 was a really fun time, especially on the restarts between Bowman and Allgaier, and Almirola and Allgaier. That battle between those two in Stage 2 was incredible, and I think the racing at the end and the fantastic finish at the end of the day. I feel bad for Justin Allgaier because I think he deserved the win, just a tough break there as a whole. whole. Generally, I'm not the biggest fan of Phoenix, but I think the racing this weekend so far has honestly not been too bad. Before the really good finish, I probably would have given this race probably about a 7.5 out of 10, but I'm actually probably about a 7.9, but because of the really good finish, I'm going to give this race overall an 8.5, or probably about an 8.8 out of 10, because I think this was one of the better Xfinity Series races we have seen in a very, very long time. It was really intriguing, fun. Sure, it had its moments where it was a little bit boring, but I'm going to give it an 8.8 out of 10. Now, transitioning to the CW issues, I did see today that there were some major problems with the CW broadcast, unfortunately. Apparently, only a certain amount of states could view the race today. That is just unacceptable. I've been saying this for the last couple of weeks, but the CW, their broadcasts generally are really, really good. They had some broadcast glitching throughout the day today, unfortunately. They got to resolve that. But I really, really do not understand why they don't have the races on the app. I do get that they want to have people go to the broadcast, but not every single CW, basically CW area for some reason, is showing these races. And that's something that needs to change very, very quickly, because if the CW wants to keep their partnership long-term and stick around long-term, they've got to get this resolved and figured out. Because I think the broadcasts generally for the CW are really good. Adam Alexander does a great job. Jay McMurray and Park Clerman always do a really good job. The problem is that they're having issues getting out to everybody, and I think the races absolutely 100% need to be available on the app, in my honest opinion. So, that is going to be it for reactions to the NASCAR Xfinity Series race from Phoenix Raceway. I want to thank you guys for watching. Please subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on so when a video does go live on my channel. Follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram, and support me on Patreon as well. Let's go below that and comment your thoughts below on today's race. Your thoughts in today's race, let me know below. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and congratulate Aric Almirola on picking up the win in a really good finish. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Tomorrow morning on the channel, you're going to see the starting lineup video for the Shriners Children 500 at Phoenix. And then, of course, you're going to see the cover view, and you might see a Shane Van Gisbergen video as well. Then on Monday, we're going to have basically the news video talking about some Dodge rumors around Mexico City, some stuff around Kurt Busch, some other stuff around some other drivers like Kyle Busch and the suspensions, and Chase Elliott speaking out about Ross Chastain a little bit. We'll talk about Kyle Larson, Haley Deegan, Connor Zilch Jr. Motorsports, the lawsuit between 2011 Front Rows. We got some updates on that very recently. We got some other really good content dropping soon on people like Chandler Smith, Clayton McFarland, Matt Benedetto, all the good stuff will be coming out on the channel really, really soon. So anyways, like I said, I want to thank you guys for watching today's episode, and I'll see you guys next time for more great, awesome NASCAR content and other motorsports content on the channel like this. Take care, everybody.